Hi everybody from Salt Lake City. Today was the last day of the grading and we finished. Yay! We finished grading all 380,000 booklets, each with 3 essays in them. Of course, I was only grading question 1, but I'll tell you what, if I don't see a landlady essay in a while, I will be happy. It's not that I mind reading student papers, but I ended up with a little over 1,000 essays that I read over this week. Grand total like 1,031 or something like that. So that is a lot of essays on the same topic. But interestingly enough, there's a lot of variety. I read a lot of really interesting essays. I read a whole lot of not so interesting essays, and I read a whole lot of essays that weren't really about the topic. I saw some drawings. I saw people just writing about how they, didn't want to take the test and just would rather sleep. I read an essay about how senioritis is real. So it's a big variety, but for the most part, I read a lot of 4s and 5s and 6s, which is good. I feel like the essays that I read for the most part were in the mid-range, and that's a good thing, I think, overall for students. So they make sure that you don't read your own students' essays. I had a few students who were asking me, hey, if you read my essay, let me know. I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to read your essay. They do things behind the scenes to make sure that the essays from the people who are grading at a table don't receive their own essays. So I wasn't going to be reading any of my own essays. But anyway, we finished about an hour early. We were on track to finish early, and they told us that we might finish early and to bring a book, because sometimes you have to wait for another area to finish, and if they need to send the books back over to us to read, then we might have to do that. So we were all kind of quietly reading and speculating about when we were going to be finished, and the director came and addressed us and said thank you, and we gave a gift to our table leader, and she gave us notes, and it was all very nice. And then finally they said, we're done. So they rang a bell, the last bell, and we all went, yay! And we said goodbye to everybody. We took a final picture of our group. I'll insert my group picture here. Boop! And then that was about it. So we got out at about an hour early, I guess. So that gave me an opportunity to get on the tram. And I decided that before I came back and packed up all my stuff, I'll talk about my travel plans in a minute. So before I came back to the hotel and packed up all my stuff, that I would go ahead and take the tram up into the mountains. There's a lot of infrastructure here from when they did the 2002 Olympics here, the Winter Olympics. So one of those, there's stadiums and things like that, and a lot of hotels, of course. But then there is also a transportation system. So one of the lines goes up to the University of Utah Medical Center, and I took that up there because everybody had said that if you take that up all the way to the end of the line, that you can get a really good view of the mountains. So I did that, and it was maybe a 15-minute tram ride, and I did that, and it was pretty nice. Insert picture of mountains from up in the mountains. Boop. So it was, kind of a whirlwind. You're exhausted most of the time, but you're still in a new place, and so you want to see things and, do some sightseeing and do some shopping and things like that. But, you're pretty tired, and there's a lot of walking. So I think I'm going to take the next couple of days after I get home to kind of relax a little bit. And Friday was the last day of school for us. Saturday we packed, Sunday morning we left. So I haven't really had any downtime since school was out. So I think I'm going to deserve that when I go back and give myself a little bit of time for some R&R. Speaking of going back, tomorrow morning, get this, I'm on a 6 a.m. flight, which means I need to catch the 3:30, I can barely say it, the 3:30 a.m. flight, shuttle out of here to the airport, check in at the airport, and get on that 6 a.m. flight to Dallas. And then I think there's only not even an hour in Dallas, and I get on the flight back back home to the Valley. So please cross your fingers that all that goes well. If you didn't see my first vlog from this series, then you should go and watch it, because it was a real adventure, let's just say. And unless you like airport hotel rooms that are sketchy and have mosquitoes in the shower to bite your butt while you're trying to clean it, then it's kind of, you know, yeah. So I probably shouldn't have said that. Probably people are like, oh, TMI. In any case, so let's just hope that the flight home I can sleep or something, and just the time goes by fast and I'm home before I know it. So cross your fingers. Okay, so before I go for today, I'm going to pack up, get everything ready. I don't want to, you know, disturb my roommate too much when I leave in the morning. But before I do that, I had promised all of the fun words that I learned while I was grading essays. Now, disclaimer, I'm not trying to make fun of the students. I'm not trying to pretend that I ever sat for an AP exam, because I never did. They didn't offer it at my high school. I'm just saying that there were some fun words that people came up with, and I would like to share a few of them with you. No judgment. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that some people were pretty creative, and I think that's cool. So if we could get these, you know, Twitter trending or whatever it's called. What is it called on Twitter? Trending, right? I think it's trending. If we could get these trending on Twitter, I would appreciate it. The one that I was thinking of yesterday, if you watched the vlog from yesterday, I was trying to think of a word and I didn't have my notes. I left them there in the grading room, and I was trying so hard to think of what it was, and I couldn't, so I went with another one that I did remember, which was metaphored as a verb. Okay, I think that could work, actually. I think that we should make that happen. But the one that I was trying to think of, I have my paper here. The one that I was trying to think of was like the ultimate, and I think this is an awesome word. It's paranoid. So I read all the essays that I read upwards of 1,000 essays. They were all on the same poem, The Landlady by P.K. Page. And if you took the exam, then you know the poem, but it's about this creepy landlady that when her boarders are out and about, she goes through their stuff, trying to learn about them and get as much information as she can and all that sort of thing. But anyway, so a lot of people wrote about the boarders being paranoid. And so the word is paranoid, P-A-R-A-N-N-O-Y-E-D, like para-annoyed. And I'm thinking, well, if I was paranoid, I would be annoyed at it. So that works. So some other standout words from my list are things like furtherly instead of furthermore. What's another one? Illumifies. This illumifies the message of the poet. I think that one comes from the eye drops, right? Like there's an eye drop ad that's out for Illumify, and I think maybe that's where that comes from. So I'm not saying that these are stupid words. I'm saying they're interesting words, right? Let's see, what's another one? Observatorial. Observatorial was a good one. I think that you can think back over your trip and think about all of the observatorials that you had. And the last one that I'll share with you is hashtag seemfully. Seemfully. She would seemfully check up on her tenants in her boarding house. Seemfully. And the last one that I'll share with you is hashtag seemfully. Seemfully. She would seemfully check up on her tenants in her boarding house. Seemfully. So, okay, I guess that's it from Salt Lake City. I would like to thank those of you who kind of went on this voyage with me. I've never done a vlog before. I just thought it would be kind of fun to share the experience. I may do a little something on my travel tomorrow, but if it's uneventful, I think I'm just going to get on a plane and go home and do laundry and try to hibernate for a couple days, hug my kitty cats, and see my husband. He's supposed to come in from Tampa tomorrow evening, so we haven't seen each other for a week, so maybe we'll have a date night or movie in or pizza or something like that. So if it's pretty uneventful, this will be the last vlog. If anything interesting happens tomorrow on my travel day, then you might hear a little extra bonus vlog in there or something like that. But I'd like to thank you for watching my vlogs. It's kind of fun to share in a new experience. I also want to say an important thing. I don't know how many of you know I'm 50 years old. I turned 50 back in November. And I think that it's really important to keep trying to do new things. And you know, you can go for a long time doing the same old things, and I think that's perfectly fine, but it gets comfortable. And when there are opportunities that arise, I think that it's important to pick and choose opportunities, but I think that you have to keep expanding and keep learning and keep trying and keep growing. And so if there's anything that I learned from this experience, it's that it's worth it to put yourself out there. And, you know, who cares that I got held up an extra day in the airport? It was annoying and, you know, all that stuff. But ultimately, the experience was worth it. And so pushing through difficulties or trying new things doesn't really ever have to end. And I think that it's a good example that I got out of my comfort zone. I'm not really very good at that. I don't like doing that. Who does, right? I'm not an extreme person, but I think that it's good every once in a while to push yourself and see what other shapes you can form yourself into, and how you can push your own envelope and try new things and get on that tram and go up to the mountain by yourself and see what's out there, and you know, get lost in an airport, or you know, have setbacks and try to overcome them. And you learn things about yourself through that process. So ultimately, I think that's the message that I want to get across to those of you who've been on this journey with me. And I thank you for coming along. So until I see you in person, take care.